There is this comfort that comes from the bosom of a woman. You cannot get it from your male friend who is so caring, no matter how caring that person. Man is man. God made it that way. The Bible said male and female created it. One of the things that is my weakness in people, especially men, is a quiet attitude. I love quiet men. Oh my God. If you are quiet and you are wicked, I can justify your wickedness. Like I can say you people don't know what he's going through just because of that quietness. And when I am doing something, I would dash you all the benefit of doubt that I have just because of that attribute. It is one of the things I just love. And when you have something I love, I have no other option than to love it. Samson doesn't have control over his below the belt faculties. I'm being honest. There are men who love beautiful women whose wives are not so good looking, but that didn't give them the audacity to cheat. There are people that certain things are their consecration, points of consecration, that if the devil can tamper with that thing, it will take a long time to restore them. And even after the restoration, a scar is always there. I told myself while I was growing up and when I began my journey of becoming, I told myself I don't want to be referred to just as a fair girl that lives down the street. I want more to my name.
Okay, let's go.
You know, we usually teach the story of Samson as a story of a great man that fell. Do you agree with that?
I would say that's not all there is to learn from that story. Because, it's very easy to judge. It's very easy to judge someone when you have never been in their shoes. It's very easy. Many men who judged Samson would have gotten Delilah pregnant before they captured it. That's just the truth. I'm not saying what he did was right. I am just saying that is not all there is to that story. There is a lot to learn from the story of Samson, apart from the fact that he fell. Samson came by prophecy. God took time to structure his life even before he arrived. And when he arrived, his parents told him everything God had said, and he kept to it. He didn't say, my hair is getting heavy for me, I want to cut it. He didn't say, my friends are taking strong drink, I want to take it. He didn't say, I'm too lazy to hunt for meat, so let me eat a dead meat or something like that. He knew, and he was walking in that direction. So that alone is a lesson for me that it is not enough to have a prophecy over your head. It's not enough to be a child of destiny. Everybody is a child of destiny. It's for you to discover your own destiny. And I believe destiny is a destination, not who you are, but where you're going and who you become in the process of going to that destination. So Samson knew, and he was walking in that direction.
Is there any lesson to learn from his weaknesses, his relationship life?
Speaking of his relationship life, I have come to see that great men are great men. But when it comes to relationships and marriage, it's very important to be very careful about your choice. Because the truth is, no matter how strong you are, the spouse you choose has a very, very important role to play in your life. Now, Samson was called to fight the Philistines. I had the mind to go and marry a Philistine woman. Yeah. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did that, because there are a lot of beautiful daughters in the kingdom.
Maybe he felt like that was where he found love now.
Love for me. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not a love doctor. I face my own aspect. But for me, love is not just a feeling. It's a commitment that you should be sure of what you're doing. Because sometimes there is this cloud of emotions that you feel like without this person I would die. You will not die, actually. Because now, look at what he did. Because maybe the emotions were everywhere. He was painting the whole town red. All those kind of things. And when the vapors of emotions began to sublime, the tiny, tiny packages that came with his decision started creeping in. That was when his in-laws had the audacity to visit on a feast and were asking the wife to ask him, what is the source of your power. If not that he married their sister, they will not have that boldness. They won't have that courage. They will still be afraid of this. They will be, because they are wanting to unravel the mystery behind the life of Samson. They want to know why a human being, one, can kill thousands of people, and it's as if he has done nothing. The strength was there ever so. They wanted to find out. And they came through the spouse he chose. If he didn't marry their sister, they have no business in his house. They would have come to his house. And then, speaking of emotions, I also learned from the story of Samson that your emotions shouldn't be your drive.
Yeah.
Your emotions should not be your drive.
But do you think that what got him attracted to the Philistines woman was just emotions?
I think it was just emotions, because if it was a true love, he wouldn't still go after another woman. You know, the Bible recorded that was, I think he goes into prostitutes or something. That was the way the Bible put it.
But what if the problem was from him, his inability to control his urge?
That could be one reason. But from what I see, I think Samson was looking for something.
Something like...
Something. Because every strong man or a great man of his caliber needs comfort at home. Somebody to run home to and not be the strong man again. You know, some people, many people who are strong people in quotes, they always have that one person, whether a spouse, whether a friend, whether anybody, just that one person or two people that when they come into that circle, they remove the garment of the strong killer of the Philistines. They just want to be with this person as a human. The wife of Samson, I don't think she really did her homework, because you are now married to him. Why are your people asking you to? Why are your people using you as a tool to find out his strength? Didn't you think that these people have a plan? They used you, they couldn't get it through you, so they went through another woman. They knew they must get this information. And she didn't, I don't think she stood her ground in the life of her husband. Something was lacking. Something was truly lacking. I believe Samson was trained to be Samson from childhood. So maybe he did not have a childhood per se. Maybe he was just going through the trainings of, you are the fulfillment of this prophecy. Yeah. Stop carrying sand about, even though you are 5 years old. Come and read your Bible. Come and pray. Make sure nothing touches this hair. So even when he is playing with his fellow kids, the mother can come and say, did you just touch my son's hair? Carry him and go back home. He didn't, he might, the Bible did not say this, but I am just looking at the picture.
A lot is behind the scene.
A lot is behind the scene. A lot is behind the scene. So he might not have a childhood. And when you meet somebody who did not have a childhood, the next place, the next available option to get a feeling, that freedom, that liberty of being a child is in their home, their marriage. And if they don't get it there, that is when they start going out to look for it elsewhere. I am not endorsing cheating. I'm not saying cheating is right. Yeah. But I think Samson was looking for something. He went into the prostitutes. He didn't get it. And when Delilah came into the picture, she gave him something. The Bible didn't even say they were having sex. So it was not even about sex. Yeah. It was comfort. The guy was looking for comfort. There is this comfort that comes from the bosom of a woman. You cannot get it from your male friend who is so caring. No matter how caring that person. Man is man. God made it that way. The Bible said male and female created in them. This man was comfortable enough to fall asleep in the bosom of this woman. I don't think he met her that same day. It was a gradual process. It was a gradual process. And Delilah took time to see what he really needed. So he was stroking his hair. She was stroking his hair. She was giving him comfort, making him feel at home. Personally, I cannot fall asleep around anybody. Like just everybody that come, I can just stay and know. But there's this level of communion we can have. I can even fall asleep talking with you on phone. Some people are like, I have a friend like that who is like therapy to me. Even when I'm having insomnia, maybe I'm having headache or anxiety, I can talk to this person and before you know it, I'm asleep already.
Wow.
It's just that. So Delilah took time to study. I think even though she was a tool in the hands of the Philistines, I think we can also learn from her.
A lot.
To discover what people in your life need and fill that vacuum. That is the only way to remain relevant in the life of people.
Wow.
When you give them what they do not have, they keep coming back to you. You are not giving it to them so that they can keep coming back to you. But that is just the only way to have value. For example, I own this wristwatch. If you bring exactly this thing and give me, I'll be like, thank you very much. Oh, I even have this. I might not value it. But because I don't have it and you give it to me, and out of a sincere heart, man, I would always remember you because you gave me something I don't have. Delilah took time to discern. I think even though she wasn't a Christian, she used her natural instinct as a woman very well. Women have this natural instinct that they can figure out things, whether born again or not. It's just inborn.
Yeah.
She used it very well. And she was able to get what she wanted, even though it wasn't something good.
Wow. So there's actually a lot to learn from the life of Delilah herself.
I think there is a lot. A lot. Even how could Samson find comfort in her bosom? She must be a neat woman. She must be very neat. You don't sleep where things are smelly.
It's true.
No, you don't sleep in garbage. She must have done something. The same thing Esther did before going to see the king. She didn't just fast. I don't think she just fasted.
Yeah.
She didn't just fast. Esther was a woman who was soaked in perfume, according to the Bible.
Yeah.
She took time to take care of her physique very well before now going into the spiritual aspect. So I think Delilah was neat and she must have groomed herself very well because Samson has seen women. For a strong man like him, women will be throwing themselves at him. But this woman, she had something. I'm telling you, if Delilah was to exist in this generation, I can say, I need to learn one or two from you because how did she do it? She had the ability, the everything to drag this mighty man of valor to her feet. She used her resources very well. Coming to resources, there are things we call unfair advantages, things that make you stand out. Yeah. For example, you're into podcasting, but your height can attract somebody to you. Your height can attract somebody to you. Your fine face can attract somebody to you. Things like that. She used it to her advantage. The only problem is that she used it in a wrong way. But she knew how to use what she had.
And use it intelligently.
Yeah, intelligently.
Because I didn't see anywhere in the script, just like you said, that Samson had to sleep with her.
I didn't
It wasn't really sex that she offered. There is something deeper than sex.
It was comfort. I think it was comfort because even...
But on Samson's part, you get, I think he also have a problem. Like that problem of lack of self-control.
Exactly. The fact that you lack something doesn't mean you should go and look for it everywhere. Doesn't mean if the devil gives it to you, you should collect it. That was his problem. I think humans, especially men, they have this ability of channeling their focus, including their pain, into something else. One of the 7 wonders of the world, a building in India. You need to see how beautiful this building is. So amazing. When I was reading a book that captured the history. I have forgotten the name of that building, but it's one of the 7 wonders of the world. The records have it that the man that drew the plan of that building, he started that project when he lost his wife. The pain of losing a wife was so terrible on him. But what did he do? He gathered all the energy of the pain and channeled it into something useful. So let us assume Because the Bible said it is better to live in the wilderness than stay with a nagging woman. I am assuming that maybe home wasn't conducive for Samson. He would have.
I just saw something from the scripture now.
Okay.
That book of Judges, chapter 16 from verse 4. It said, after this incident, Samson loved a woman in Sorek Valley, whose name was Delilah. And he said the Philistine officials approached her, that's Delilah now, and told her, entice him to discover where his great strength is and how we can overpower him. We intend to tie him up and torture him. We will pay you 1,100 silver coins.
Okay, so the Bible recorded that he loved.
Yeah, they actually met somewhere in the valley of Shorek.
That's what I'm saying. I said love is a commitment. I don't believe it was just love. Yeah. Because if you married somebody, there are tendencies of you thinking that you fell in love with somebody. Okay. Meanwhile, it is just something the person has that is attracting you to. Okay, I had an experience with somebody that I have a weakness with people. There is something that one of the things that is my weakness in people, especially men, is a quiet attitude. I love quiet men. Oh my God. If you are quiet and you are wicked, I can justify your wickedness. Like I can say if people don't know what is going through, just because of that quietness. And when I am doing something, I would dash you all the benefit of doubt that I have, just because of that attribute. And somebody by the side recording would say, I love this person. Because despite the attitude of this person, I can still say, don't worry, maybe he's going through a lot, people don't know. You get? Yeah. And this quietness of his stuff, there is a reason why I love quiet people. There is a reason why I love them. And it is one of the things I just love. And when you have something I love, I have no other option than to love you. Wow. I think that was what happened in the life of Samson.
There was something about
her
Delilah,
that he loved. So, and you cannot love the content without loving the container. Okay. You can't love the content without loving the container. Okay. So if you love my qualities, that means you love me. My qualities are me. My quality is me. I am the container. My quality is the content.
So Samson meeting Delilah now, it wasn't really weakness that pushed him to that.
It is weakness.
To love something natural. Like there is something you get naturally attracted to something. Just like, for example, you said you get naturally attracted to quiet people. Yeah. You get, that's natural now. You get, it's not really like a weakness. It's something by default you get attracted to. Yes. But maybe I feel like he just loved Delilah. Mm-hmm. But then the Philistines now decided to collaborate with,
to use it.
Yes, to take advantage of.
No, he loved Delilah. But the Philistines must have seen something from him and her that made them see her as the best person for the job. Okay. Remember, they did not care about Delilah. Yeah. They just wanted somebody that could do the job for them. Yes. They looked around and they saw that this person has already gotten the heart of Samson. Let's say a married woman that has something she likes in men, but maybe unfortunately the husband doesn't have it. And a man comes around and is exhibiting those things and is even ready to mingle with you. Is that an excuse? Yeah. It's not an excuse to cheat. But you can call yourself to order. You can call yourself to order. Just like I said, I love quiet people. And unfortunately, I have met a lot of men with that attribute. It's as if I attract people like that. Because that's what I like. But then your quietness, I'm not saying your quietness, when you come for something deeper and I'm seeing, or I cannot judge, I cannot cover every other thing with your quietness. The Bible said love covered all things, not quietness covered all things. You get? So he did not call himself to order. He allowed it to become so obvious that the enemies pursuing him could see that we can get this person from me. Just like I'm saying on this podcast now, I love quiet people. Somebody who doesn't know me before can now say, oh, she likes quiet people.
And we now decide to be quiet for you.
That's just it.
So it still boils down to that place of your ability to control.
Yes, your ability to control yourself. Because I don't believe you can ever have a spouse who is 100% perfect. You are not. Samson doesn't have control over his below the belt faculties. I'm being honest. I'm being very honest. There are men who love beautiful women whose wives are not so good looking. But that didn't give them the audacity to cheat. That didn't give them the audacity to cheat. And one of the things I think Samson did not understand is the weight of the prophecy over his head.
Exactly.
There is somebody you know that you are. And you will know that by virtue of who I am, I'm not supposed to do this. I had an experience one time when, out of peer pressure, peer pressure is real. I wanted to do something. I wanted to go into a particular business. Because somebody was telling me, this thing you're doing, do you think it's working? Just, put your hands on something. Put your hands into, do this. Oh yeah, try this business. I was ready to try that business. And one of the days when everybody has left the house, I was alone in the house. I don't know what happened, but I think the Bible said the Lord directs the footsteps of the righteous. So I went into the room and I got one of my shoes, one of my corporate shoes, and I put the shoes on. I was walking around in the house and I just heard God say to me, you are a woman for the boardroom. That was just it. That was all I heard. And I knew that what he was trying to tell me was that going into that business will remove my focus from who I am and what I should be building. So even though at that moment, I was facing some discomfort, and this person telling me try this business was just trying to be helpful. But I know my conviction. I know to some extent where I'm going, where God has called me to be, and where I shouldn't be. So Sam, I don't think he understood very well. He didn't understand very well, because if he did, he would have sacrificed some level of comfort. Yes. He would have sacrificed some level of comfort. Just look at Hosea, a prophet. After keeping myself, oh Lord, you are telling me to marry a prostitute. Somebody who is still going back to our lovers after our marriage. But he cared less about his reputation. He knew at the time, I am the prophet of the children of Israel. I am the prophet of the land. And there is this record of God dramatizing his plans for the children of Israel through his prophets. In the life of Ezekiel, at the time, the wife of Ezekiel died. God told Ezekiel, I took her away because I want to show the children of Israel that I will take away those things that they love, that is making them turn their backs on me. So he knew this is a line. If he wanted to get out of it, he should just drop his priesthood. He should just drop his office as a prophet. But he knew this isn't about me. This is about a line. Look at the life of Isaiah. Look at Jeremiah. All of them, God dramatized his plans for the children of Israel through them. So they understood it, and they didn't, in fact, they had no say in it. They just followed God's plans, followed God's instructions. The one who God told to bake cake with feces. How does that sound? Who does that? But he did. Lay on your side for 90 days. Who does that? No, your side will be paining you because drink. God gave him a measurement of water to take in a day. So if it's somebody like me that I take water a lot, and you're taking me to take 1 can or water a day, I would just be like, Lord, cook me because I cannot continue like that. Yeah. But they were willing to accept discomfort. So let us say it is Konji that is doing Samson. God can help you.
Yeah.
God can help you. If he sees your heart that you are ready to sacrifice your human frailties for the sake of his calling upon your life, for the sake of his calling upon your life, then definitely he's going to help you take care of it. So he didn't fully understand. That was even why he could give away information that wasn't supposed to be given away. I think his parents kept that information secret. That was why they were not looking for other people. Because they could have gone to ask his parents, but his parents were not ready to say anything. They went to the wife, nothing. And then down to Delilah. That shows how consistent the devil can be.
Yes, he can take time.
To
study you. And before you know that, he doesn't launch any attack without taking time to observe the person, watch his weakness.
Check your weaknesses, what you like.
The lady was sharing with me how, like, after 7 good years of relating with a particular guy, and finally, the guy gets to sleep with her. And then after that night of that thing, the guy said he was not doing again. But it took this guy more than 7 years to really get this girl. You understand? 7 good years. Was patient enough. In fact, decided to be attending her church. Show that love, show that care for 7 years just to sleep with her.
Do you think that was the guy? Do you think that was
the problem?
Was
the guy?
Do you think that was the guy?
It's the guy now.
Like, do you think it was just about sleeping with the girl?
No, the story was like the guy wanted to sleep with the girl. And he had patience for over 7 years just to ensure that the girl has already come to the point where she now
easily gives.
Yes.
That's what I'm asking. My question is, do you think it was just the
No,
guy?
it's not ordinary now.
It's not ordinary because
ordinary.
Girls are everywhere now.
Yeah.
There are girls that just cook and gala.
That's it.
Sorry, but just cook and gala. You've gotten her. Like you don't even need cook and gala for some. Just tell her I love you. It's that.
Yeah.
So
but to patiently wait for one,
something is behind it.
And
something
it's not like you are getting
it.
a different thing that you will get from other girls. It's still that same.
It's still the same thing.
Yeah,
the content is the same.
Yeah.
Sizes can differ, but the content is the same. It's just there is more to that story.
Yes.
There is more to that story. It has a lot to do with who that girl is.
Exactly.
Samson is not Samson completely without his hair. There are people that certain things are their consecration, points of consecration, that if the devil can tamper with that thing, it will take a long time to restore them. And even after the restoration, a scar is always there. Take David as an example. David did all he did. God was forgiving. God was understanding. He made mistakes. God was understanding. He was not a prophet. He asked for the effort to consult God. When Ziklag was destroyed, God condoned him and understood that it was because the prophets were nowhere to be found. He understood. But that was the same thing he used to judge Saul. Saul did the same thing.
Exactly the same.
But God understood David. Now to the point where he slept with another man's wife. The first crime was even staying at home when kings go to war. Kings, your fellow kings are at the battlefield. You believe that you have Abishai. You believe you have your strong men. David had some really strong men.
Yeah.
One of them could kill 300 at a go. So he had strong men, and maybe he became overconfident that he didn't know that it is not just about the war, but this one is a place where kings come to show their expertise. And if you go there, your win is not just your win, but the win of the God of Israel.
Yeah.
And you stayed at home, walking around in your balcony till you saw another man's wife. You saw a damsel. Took the damsel, slept with her, time went, tried to cover your sin.
And it even bettered more.
Bettered more crimes. You killed the man. And then Solomon was born. Solomon was born.
Yeah.
After everything, the scar left was that the one thing he had a lot of zeal to do, the one thing he always wanted to do for God, God said, I can't collect that sacrifice from you. I forgive you, I love you, but I can't collect that sacrifice from you. Moses, the meekest man, the meekest of them all. At a point, God said, I forgive you, but you're not entering Canaan land. I called you the meekest man, and you had the audacity to get angry to the point of changing what I said. The Bible said this rock followed the children of Israel. Later on, we understood that the rock is Jesus.
Christ.
So you get mind. You get mind hits my word personified. The word I sent to follow you. And at that point, it was linked back to the tribe Moses was coming from. It's coming from Levi.
Yeah.
And remember the curse Jacob gave Levi and Judah when they killed the people of Shechem because of the rape of Diana.
Yeah.
He cursed them. Something about their anger. And it was a line. Moses almost escaped it. Just a little thing. And he fell for the same thing.
But wait, what happened to Moses? Thank God for this little digression. What happened to Moses and David? Are we trying to paint the picture that God can forgive? He can actually forget, but then he will still somehow still find a way to still punish you back for that crime.
It's not like that though, because God is a merciful father.
Because the way the story went, just like the case of David,
like
yes, it looks like I've forgiven you, but then you go still collect more.
If it's like that, then what punishment did God give Paul for being a persecutor?
No, now Paul transitioned now from being a persecutor to becoming.
That's what I'm saying. So when he repented, he was forgiven now for all his crimes.
But we are talking about those who already, just like you already,
who were already walking with God. Yeah,
it's not like someone that moved just like me. I moved from being an unbeliever to a believer, like to someone in Christ. And then, as this walk is ongoing, I came to a point where I messed up again. You get, and it's just like the picture is like, okay, God is gonna forgive because the forgiveness is already there, constant, even before you sin. But then it looks like I've forgiven you, I love you, but shall you must collect. You get, but is God really that way? Is God really that way? Because some persons paint that picture about God. Seriously,
I think that is where the fatherhood of God comes to play in.
Okay.
God is not just God; He is our Father, and He teaches us. He teaches us. Experience will make you understand God in some particular ways.
Exactly.
That will help God. Not really help God, but God can even use your experiences as a tool for another generation. It is your mistake, and you had the choice. You had the liberty to choose not to make that mistake, but you did. And He has forgiven you. He understands your frame. You are but dust and ashes. And your wounds, He heals them. But scars are for memories. Scars are for remembrance. Check the advice of David to Solomon. It was not just from serve the God of Israel, your father. It was from a point of don't make the mistake I made. David was so intentional about the parenting of Solomon that he rewired his mind away from material things. He rewired his mind away from position and power, focusing on having a greater connection with God over everything. It was not just from the fact that he's a Jew or an Israelite. It was from his experience. Yeah. And God knows what he's doing. God knows what he's doing. Yeah. I had an experience that made me say that this is just God's fatherhood playing in. At a point in my life, God was telling me something. It was looking so impossible. And I didn't like it. I'll be honest, that thing, I didn't like it. But at the point I was like, Lord, let that kind of let your will be done, that you are saying it, but in your mind, that I don't like this thing sharp, but let's just be going. So what happens is occasionally I try to ask God, are you sure it is you that is telling me this thing? I ask the questions, he will give me signs, he will speak to me, he will speak to me through the word, he will send people to confirm it, he will give me visions, and I'm still asking, Lord, are you sure it's you? At the point, he became quiet. I will converse with him on every other thing. But when it comes to that aspect, I'll be like, Lord, what are you saying? He will not say anything to me. He will just keep quiet. And that alone was a torture on me. Because why are you keeping quiet? I want to know what you think. For him to speak to me on that issue again, I had to first ask for forgiveness for even doubting him in the first place. And it was after I did that I began to see green light in that area again. So it's not as if God cannot totally forgive you. There are people God totally forgive. God totally forgave Paul. What we always say is the punishment. Okay, let's leave Paul. What about Peter?
Even Samson himself.
God forgave him.
Yeah, and what happened to Samson was not necessarily
what God wanted.
Yes.
He chose his outcome.
Because sometimes I realize over time that what many people are facing is not really punishment or even discipline from God, but what they have gotten themselves into.
And what they chose to stay in.
What they chose to stay in.
Yes.
Thank you. Because many people, when you look at their life, look at the way it's going, some of them still think that it's as a result of their past mistakes. That maybe God is still angry with me, God is this with me, and all of that. Because when I read that life of Samson, what really happened, I know we usually teach it as the story of a great man that failed, but when I began reading it, I got deeper meaning into it.
Yes.
You get? Because I kept on asking the question. The strength of Samson was in his hair, right? So I now came to realize, why did God choose to put strength on what has the ability to grow back? So it means that God,
even if it's God.
Thank you. So God understood that man is weak. That even though he's great, strength is different from character. Are you getting me? So even though he's great and he's doing mighty things, but then what if something now happens and then this person, are you getting me? Yeah. So he now placed it in what has that capacity to grow back again. So you don't have an excuse to remain the place where you are.
And it's just like it's just like a seed.
Yeah.
Even when you bury it,
it will still
grows back. Samson chose his outcome, honestly, because there was nothing that showed that God had abandoned him. He called God and God answered. Even though he was blind, God can still raise somebody whose ministry can just be
to guide him. Exactly.
And he will continue what he was doing.
The assignment will continue.
Now look at Elijah and Elisha. God saw the heart of Elijah. God knew, I want to dramatize rapture through this guy. And this guy's heart is just like this. I need to retain that kind. Samson was a kind that, in the history of the Bible, his kind did not repeat. He was a kind.
Yeah.
And Elijah too was a kind. God placed things, like God created scenarios that will retain that kind, so that the earth will not be void of that kind. God told him, go back and anoint Elisha. He anointed Jehu, anointed Hazael, but Elisha, God said, as a prophet in your room, forget about the children of Israel, in your room.
Yeah.
He knew the nature of the anointing Elijah had, and he knew it is not something you get by prayer. That kind of anointing that Elijah had, he knew it's not by prayer, it is by service. So he anointed somebody to serve him and draw that power down to stay in the earth realm.
Yeah.
And this was something Gehazi would have done.
Exactly.
To retain it. And the power did not go with Elisha, it stayed even in the grave. That was why his bones could resurrect a dead man. This power was needed. The problem was who would carry it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Samson understood that, oh, my hair can grow back, God could have saved him from that place and hid him in a cave just for his hair to grow back.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even for him to master, because the body is created in a way that it can adapt. When you see blind people, their hearing capacity is very, very powerful. A blind person knows when you shift your leg, but you that can see, you may not be able to take notice of that. You have your eyes.
Exactly.
So God could even take time to keep him in a cave, train him to use his ears in place of his eyes.
Exactly now.
The same thing that happened to David in the cave of Adullam. God kept him there to train his leadership abilities. The Bible recorded that broken people came to him, people that were shattered came to him, and these were the same man he bred into becoming mighty men. People like Abishai, people like, what are they? I can't remember their names anymore. But these were now the mighty men that stood with him, to the point that they broke into the camp of Philistines just to get him a cup of water. That connection is not just something you get because you are David, the anointed of God. It was from a point of connection. So they knew this man had poured part of him into us, and we have no other option than to stay with him. So Sam, I wish he knew. Honestly,
Exactly.
I wish he knew.
And this should actually be a lesson to many people out there, because sometimes we do something and we think that this is the end. I've come to understand in life that failure is not the end of life. Whatever that we are really going through now. And I was even reasoning, just like you were saying, God could actually raise a guide, or train his ears to take the place of the eye. I reasoned to the point where I started seeing the possibility of God also restoring that sight, because God is the creator of eyes. So if God restored the hair, he can also restore the sight. But then he chose that he wanted to die. He wanted to give up and all of that.
And God doesn't force himself on people.
No, not
He always
at all.
allow you to
He
make
will allow
the
you
choice.
to take your time, take your decision.
Even if it means that your decision will cut his purpose in that area, he will just channel it in another way, because it's God. Now you do yourself.
Exactly.
Because it's God. Samson, there is a lot to learn from the story of Samson.
A whole lot.
I also learned that as a child of prophecy, you should be able to understand the weight of your purpose and know the consecration for it. And know the consecration for it. So that when God starts dealing with you in that area, you do not start shaking. I've listened to great men of God who have at this point become influential. They have access to money. Many of them will tell you stories of how God tamed their hunger for money. That even at this point where it seems as if they have all the money they want, they are not moved by it. They can easily give it away. God knew where they were going to, and he started to train that hunger or that crave for money. Some of them, God can allow you wear your Italian suit and he tells you to lie down on the floor and start praying. He knows what he's doing. There are consecrations necessary for particular offices.
Yeah. Now, what advice can we give to the ladies from this picture of Delilah and all of that? What advice can we give to young people in a relationship?
Okay, in a relationship,
Yeah.
what kind of relationship?
Let's start from the ladies and then
Okay.
we move to, relationship, friendship.
As I think one of the things that I would like to tell young girls from the story of Delilah is that you should learn to make yourself irresistible. It's not just about the looks. The looks are very important. I mean, if you look good, try to look good.
Yeah.
Try to smell nice. Be neat. Take good care of yourself. But far from that, be irresistible. Be that kind of girl that nobody who comes across you will like to leave. I'm not saying cage all men. I'm saying be irresistible. Gather things that can make you have the spirit of influence and keep the spirit of influence. I don't think Deborah was just strong, and that was why Barak, a commander in the army, said, if you don't go with me in this battle, I'm not going anywhere. Something must have attracted this man. Something must have made him say, without this ability, we are not going to win this battle. And from what I understood in the story of Deborah, I think she's a woman of confidence. Yeah. She doesn't just pride in the fact that she was a judge. She had this confidence in the God of Israel. And that is an ability that many people lack. So I would tell ladies, develop yourself to the point that you become irresistible. That people will not just say, oh, this fine girl, and that's just it. That's the only attribute. I told myself while I was growing up and when I began my journey of becoming, I told myself I don't want to be referred to just as a fair girl that lives down the street. I want more to my name. I want more to my name. Assuming Samson wasn't married. Or even at that time, taking more than one wife was not yet a sin.
It wasn't an issue.
It wasn't an issue. I think if not that she gave room for the Philistines, Samson might have married her.
It's true.
Samson might have married her. And I would also like to tell ladies to reduce their level of manipulation. It's so difficult to know when a lady is manipulating you. She can manipulate you without your knowledge. Especially women who have tapped into the power of influence. One time I was speaking with a friend and he said, he called the name of one of my bosses that I work with. And he said, Esther, you have killed this man. I was just laughing. He was saying that because this particular boss of mine couldn't do anything in the office where I serve him in without saying, let us ask Esther. I am not his particular assistant. I am not the closest person to him, office related. But he would always say, Esther, what do you think? If you have not called Esther, don't call me. And one of the reasons why I think that happened is because I came to understand this, my boss, beyond his actions and words. He can scold. This my boss can scold. If you see him scolding me, you think I'm dead. But I've come to understand him as somebody who loves attention. Okay. One of his weak points is affection. Thank God I did not call his name. One of his weak points is affection. And I knew... did I say affection?
Yes, you said affection.
No, I meant attention. Sorry.
Okay, attention.
How can I be saying affection? I beg, attention. Okay. He loves attention. He loves when you praise him and when you attribute things to him. So what I do is I want something done in the office in a particular way. And I know that coming straight to tell him, sir, I think we should do this thing this way, he will start being diplomatic about it. So what I do is I find a way to program his thinking in a way that he thinks that idea is coming from him.
Okay.
And because he thinks it is from him, he will do everything possible to do that thing. Now, my own is that whoever takes the credit, I don't care. Because he would always take the credit. I don't care about the credit. What I want is this thing is done in the right way, yes, and that is it. So I would always give him what he needs to get what I want. And this is an ability in women. And most times they use it against men. I would always tell my friends sometimes when we talk that men are the express image of God. They are very, very influential. You don't rub shoulders with them to get what you want. If you submit, I think submission is not just in marriage. Submission works in other circles apart from marriage. I have experienced this firsthand. Because in many offices where I serve, men are always my superior. I've worked with so many men as my superior, and I use this thing and I get what I want. So women should reduce their manipulation and save that attribute for your husband. Don't use it on everybody. Don't try to manipulate everybody you come across, with tears, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Ladies do, and it works. But the fact that God gave you that ability for a reason, He didn't give you so that you can start oppressing people with it.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I would like to say.
Wow. Thank you very, very much. And to the guys, protect what you have. Are you getting me? So she has already leaked a secret that they are manipulative.
Not all of I didn't say all of us are manipulative. I didn't say all women are manipulative. I'm just saying that women have that ability more than men.
Yeah.
Women have that ability of manipulation. I won't lie. Even though I'm a woman. But it can be used.
It's what we call the power of a woman.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's guide what we have. I know we've learned so much from this life of Samson and even Delilah. I didn't even know that there's something to learn from Delilah until you started putting up some stuffs. So, but I believe this session blessed you. Just click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you not miss out on our subsequent series on this Bible gist. So thank you so much, Esther, for making our time to be in the studio with us. We'll do this often. Yeah. Thank you. See you in our next video. Say bye now.